they had some beef with this other white gang, dude, and this dude landed in the cage with these guys. And the dude he landed in the cage with, this dude has like over 10 different assaults with knives, and he just so happened to have that knife out there that day. And dude, they stabbed this dude like maybe 37 times. And they had one dude grabbed him and had him in the headlock, and the other dude just hit him, boom, 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 then passed the knife. The other dudes hit him, you know what I mean? Then passed the knife to the third dude, and he stuck him.
What's up, everybody? I'm Blessed and Free. Welcome back to another episode of DOC TV Unleashed. If you're tapping in for the first time and have never watched any videos on this channel, I bring people on this channel that have been to prison, that have been through the struggle at the bottom and have overcame that, got out, and are doing better in life, because I want people to see that people like us can change and we can beat the statistics. So we can just jump right into this interview, man. Why don't I go ahead and just introduce yourself and tell the people that are watching where you're from and what's your name?
All right, my name's Bumper. I'm from Porterville, California. I've been out since October, and I'm just out here living a good life right now.
I feel that. What was it like for you growing up before you went to prison, just to give the people a little bit of background on you?
For me growing up, I grew up in a small town. Like, I was born out here in Arkansas. This is where I'm living now. So all my family's out here. I've moved back. So I lived in Northeast Arkansas in a little town called Leachville, and it was super small, very country, dude. So like when we were poor as hell. So, you know, I grew up, I had a house that I lived in as a kid that had a hole in the kitchen floor, dude. And possums used to come up and get in our house and eat our fucking cereal and stuff. So like when I was 9, dude, we moved to California. And it was a culture shock for me because, you know, the town I grew up in was an all-white town. So I didn't even know what a Mexican was. You know, I got out there, and when we got to California, we moved out there because my papa had cancer, and there's a veterans hospital in Fresno, so he could go do chemo up there, and that's the reason we moved out there. So like the whole family just went out there, and my mom and dad, dude, they're both alcoholic addicts. So we were basically, me and my little brother, were basically like little motel kids. We lived in like these pay by the week motels on like the whole stroll in Tulare. Dude, we just didn't have no kind of structure, bro. We was like, they didn't want us in the room, so we was out running around all over town, dude, like stealing bikes, breaking into shit, and just getting into trouble, bro. The first time I got busted, I was 11 years old, and it was on my 11th birthday, and me and my little brother had broken to this place next door to the hotel we were staying in Lindsay, and there was a bunch of guns in there, and we took all these guns, and we gave them to my dad. We told him we found them out in the orange groves and shit. And my dad and him were selling them. Dude, the whole family got busted. All of us went to jail like a couple weeks later. We pulled up into the store. It was like a regular day. We pulled up into this store to get whatever. And my mom went in, and me and my dad and my little brother were in the car. And then all the cops just swooped down on us and just took us all to jail. That was the point in my mom's life where she got clean, you know, she got clean and sober. But like for me, it was pretty much the just start of my criminal career, dude. Like from there, I went to like 6 group homes. Every time I'd go to those, I'd wait to get the clothing voucher so I could buy all kinds of new clothes and shit. And then I would steal a car. And I would never go back home where I was from. I would always like take somebody with me, and we'd go to their town or their city, and I'd go check it out, you know. So
how old were you when you started doing drugs?
I started smoking weed. Like the first time I smoked weed was with my parents. It was like before that. So I had to have been like 9 or 10, dude. And like, I just remember it was my birthday, and my dad was like, they didn't have nothing for me. So they're like, just got me stoned, dude.
How do you
like,
feel about that
like,
now?
Man.
And I'm not asking judging, because I lived that same type of history. What do you think?
This is how I look at it, you know, because I love my mom, and my dad's passed. My biological father's passed away now. He passed away in 2011. So I just look at it like this, man. They were pretty much kids when they had me. So my mom was 16. My dad was a little bit older, but I kind of like, I don't want to blame them for that type of shit, but like it didn't help, you know, it didn't help at all. But though, you know, we know right from wrong, so
yeah, that's true.
like you know right from wrong. So if you choose to do that type of stuff, you know what you're doing at a certain age. But yeah.
And then did it like progressively get worse doing the drugs? Is that what got most of your arrests and your charges?
Okay, so there was a certain period in my life. My drug use was actually very short-lived, dude. Like I had really short stints with them because I would go so damn hard, like with that shit. When I did get on a run, that it wouldn't take very long for me to go to jail. And then I would get clean. But then there came a point in my life, dude, like in my early 20s where I just didn't do drugs no more. I turned into an alcoholic, you know, and when I was an alcoholic, a lot of my crimes that it turned from like petty crimes, like property crimes, and just dumb shit you do when people are on drugs, you know, checks and fraud and all that crap, stolen property, just petty shit. Turned into like serious violent offenses, dude. Like I just started crushing people out, and that just continued, dude, until like very recently in the past. You know, I've actually made a lot of progress with like my anger and shit, and being able not to act out on impulse and just do that to people. You know, because I used to just it was nothing, dude. Violence, I loved it.
Like what happened that's got you sent to prison for the first time?
For the first time, I went to CDC in California. So my first charges, I had a strong arm robbery. And then I had like receiving stolen property, receiving a stolen vehicle, and then like some fraud shit like credit card stuff. But that was my first bid. I went to CDC. I went to the youth authority in California too, dude. I did some time as a juvenile in the youth authority. I didn't mention that, but like yeah, I was in NRCC, Paso Robles, YTS. I did all that too, and that was a crazy experience, you know.
Yeah. What was the craziest prison that you did your time in?
Hands down, there's two, and they're pretty much tied. But like when I got to the feds, I just started witnessing a level of violence that I've never seen before. You know, it was, and I've been in like prison and jail my whole life, but this was just entirely different than what I'd ever experienced.
Well, can you just explain what it was like for you walking into this one of these two prisons you're talking about, and how that was for you? Like, you know, just everything mentally, physically, like what was it like?
Anytime I roll up to a new prison, I always have anxiety because you don't ever know what's going to happen, who's going to be there, whose cell they're going to put you in, you know. So there's all these factors, and I did all my time in USPs, and this particular prison, Lewisburg, was where the security management unit, the SMU, was at, and that's where they send all the knuckleheads. So what happened was I had a couple of serious assaults while I was at USP Macquarie, and my second one, the first one, I crushed my co-defendant out, and I was in the SHU for like 4 months for that. I must have stomped this dude in the head about 30 times.
Well, let's hear about that real quick too. I hate to break it off here, but that sounds great. So how did that?
Well, this fool,
they don't separate co-defendants.
That's the thing, is like on paper, he never testified against me, but he was willing to. But I didn't go to trial, so he didn't have to get up on the stand.
He didn't have enough bullshit for them to put him on the stand, is what it came down to. But he was like, I'm ready.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah. And the whole case was over him, you know, like he asked me to go with him, do this shit with this dude. And I went and did it. We firebombed this dude's house that was going over. We threw some Molotovs in this dude's house. I got 15 years. I just drove these dudes over there, and they threw the Molotovs. I didn't touch a Molotov, nothing. I got 15. Everybody told. I'm the only one that held my mud. So, like, this dude had already checked in and PC'd up before I got there, but then they let him back. They asked me if he could come back out, and I was like, sure, you know, obviously I'm not going to tell him who can come in and out of the SHU or whatever. So they sent him back out there, dude, and I just I demoed him, dude. Like I really wanted to stab the dude, but I didn't have a knife. I just had been there for like 2 weeks, so I didn't even have a knife yet. These guys were making kind of an issue about it, saying that he needed to go immediately, so it didn't give me really a lot of time to like he just showed up. Yeah, but I got him real good. So that happened, and then after that, they put this rapist in my unit, and I posted the shot for that one on TikTok. But
so how does that work, bro? Can you explain that? Because I've only done time in Florida, and Florida and California are like two different animals. So If you're in the dorm and you've been in this dorm for a minute, a new guy comes to the door with his bedroll, he comes in. How does it get from that point to you on him, like fucking him up?
I can't speak for the other cars and stuff, but as far as like the white guys, we run paperwork. So your paperwork's going to get checked. You're not just going to get like to show what your current charges are or whatever, but we're going to look you up. We're going to look at your docket sheet. We're going to look at all that. If you're messed up, dude, it's going to come out. If you're not good, this dude in particular, he just admitted to being a rapist due to this guy. And like, it was a pretty vicious rape. He was from Washington, D.C., and he had dragged this girl off of this jogging trail by like the river over there. I think it's the Potomac. I don't know how to pronounce it, but anyhow, he tied this girl up with her shoestrings, stuffed her panties in her mouth, beat her, sodomized her. He was just a vicious sex offender, dude. And
Damn.
man, we crushed this dude so hard. Like, I broke this dude's jaw in 3 places, knocked his teeth out, broke his nose, crushed his orbital socket, fractured his skull. This is just all with my fist, dude. Dude's jaw was wired shut for like 3 months. The COs were fucking like, hell yeah. You know, when the lieutenant brought me my shot, oh, it looks here like you guys beat the fuck out of somebody, right? So dude's jaw was wired shut for like 3 or 4 months, and they were feeding him insures, dude, with like a syringe and shit. So I wish that's the level of violence. So I was so angry, dude. So when I did do stuff like that, I just went all in, dude. Like, no mercy. Like, them fools don't have nothing coming as far as I'm concerned. Like, he got what he deserved. For real, I feel like they should notify the victims when that type of stuff happens. Like, hey, this guy that did this horrible crime, this heinous crime,
that would be dope.
just got some prison justice. That's a sport for us. We love it when these dudes think they can come out on our yards.
You're at Lewisburg. What was that like, man? Like, compared to every other place?
So Lewisburg is a lockdown unit. You go everywhere in handcuffs. All the knuckleheads from all over the USPs are there. So it's like a hub. Like, all the main gangsters and dudes are all there. There's all kinds of crazy shit going on all the time. Dudes are getting stabbed out in the cages. Dudes are getting beat down in their cells. Fools are getting murdered. There was a dude while I was there that cut his cellie's ears off and ate them, bro. Like, it was a madhouse.
Crazy.
And it's so like high tension, like all the time. When you go out to the cages, you don't never know what's going to happen. They might throw you in a cage where you're not supposed to be. They used to do shit like that. So they kind of they had a lot of lawsuits at Lewisburg because they were doing a bunch of fucked up shit, dude. They would,
What was that like, man? Like, being there for you, like, cause like when you got to lay your head down in that bunk at night, you know what I mean? And it sounds like you would be under constant anxiety and stress.
And you are, but like at a point, in that point in my bid, I was just basically living my life, and like I was so wrapped up in that whole convict and gangster culture that like I was like, fuck yeah, this is where I'm supposed to be. I mean, it was like a badge of honor or something to be there, with these dudes and be like on good standing with everybody.
What would you say was the most like corrupt thing you saw as far as like the guards go?
Okay, so like they have these dudes they call them gunners, right? And they're these dudes that
snipers.
They'll do it on male staff too, like they don't discriminate, I guess. I don't know. I've never understood that shit.
The people watching may not know. So when he's referring to gunners, can you just give them a little explanation of what that is?
I mean, these dudes are they're sex offenders, dude, straight up. Like they pull their dick out and jack off on the female guards. Like they'll just start masturbating right there, dude. Like looking at this woman who's fully clothed and just
How do you feel about that?
I hated that.
Yeah,
I'm glad that
I ain't on that
in front of me, dude. Like I would feel a certain type of way, but that was a big deal. It was such a big deal down when I was in Coleman in Florida, that they made all of us, nobody could have pockets on any of their clothing, dude. Like,
yeah, they did that in state too, in Florida. They took all the pockets out.
Yeah, it's so crazy, dude. Like,
that's crazy to think that it's that bad that they had to change the whole fucking state uniform. Like, you know what I'm saying? That's not cheap.
They would take those guys and they would 4-point them, and they would beat the shit out of them dudes, right? They did that, they're getting fucked up. So they would 4-point them, and basically what a 4-point is, they have a concrete slab with 4 different pinions on it, and they strap you down, your legs, your hands and shit, and they would have them in there basically naked for like 3 or 4 days, dude, with the window open in the middle of winter, and it's in Pennsylvania, bro. Like it's there's 4 feet of snow on the ground, you know, so shit like that, throw water on them, just basically torture shit there.
When you were
And
at
then,
Lewisburg, was it mandatory to be in a car that's affiliated and under some type of organization?
no, not at all. Like a lot of like real dudes won't even pull dudes at the program at the SMOO because you don't know, like you're at there, somebody could be acting a totally different way than they would on the yard. So it's like a lot of dudes don't recruit from there, you know, like
Can you say who you were affiliated with?
I ran with the skinheads.
I mean, I don't know how much you can talk about, but like, so it's not mandatory for a white boy to run with a set where you were at.
Absolutely not. The biggest group of white dudes in the feds are the independents, and they're basically just from their state. They don't, they're not affiliated. Nobody's forced to do none of that. Like I've watched some videos on there where this dude's like, yeah, I was walking the track, and about the third time I walked around, these dudes approached me and asked me to join the Aryan Brotherhood, and I'm like, you're so full of shit, dude. That's so fake. You know,
Yeah.
that's like dudes don't do that. Like dudes, you're
Yeah.
you're
You got to
looked
do
at.
some shit.
Yeah, I mean, they're gonna pull like dudes that are gangsters at least. Like they're not just gonna force some lame ass dude. Like I'm not saying they're not just gonna walk up to some lame they don't know and be like, "Hey, dude, you want to join my prison gang?"
What was the most violent thing that you saw like your whole time doing time?
Man, I saw a lot, but I seen this dude in Lewisburg get stabbed. And what's crazy is I helped cut this knife out. I was in this 4-man tank with these other dudes that were tipped up with this other tip. I'm not gonna say their name or nothing, but they had some beef with this other white gang dude, and this dude landed in the cage with these guys. And the dude he landed in the cage with, this dude has like over 10 different assaults with knives, and he just so happened to have that knife out there that day. And dude, they stabbed this dude like maybe 37 times. And they had one dude grabbed him and had him in the headlock, and the other dude just hit him, boom, 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 then passed the knife. The other dudes hit him, you know what I mean? Then passed the knife to the third dude, and he stuck him. And then they told him to get on the ground. And this dude was a gangster, though. He didn't scream or no shit like that. And he got down, but he was lit up, dude. His whole shirt was soaked with blood. I was in the cage next to him. I had my shirt off because we're getting ready to work out, because that's what we do. We go out there and do burpees and shit. I just remember it was the first like real stabbing that I'd seen up close, and like I had my shirt and I was just like I realized I was like twisting it in my hand, gripping it real tight, and I was like, because it was just vicious, dude. I was like, damn, bro. I've seen so much of that type of stuff though in there. Like everybody has knives in the USPs, dude. That's just what it is. You have to, like, if something happens, man, like you need to have one, because it's your life, bro. You know what I mean? Like you have to be strapped. It's like the Wild Wild West.
What do you think that's done to you, like mentally now, being out?
I definitely have some PTSD issues. I'm dealing with them. You know, I got federal probation, so I got a therapist that I talk to and stuff. You know, I talk about this stuff with, like, just my biggest thing, dude, is like the dealing. I don't know how to relate to people out here, kind of.
Yeah.
You know, it's hard for me to relate to normal people. So like when I'm around, I don't like being in large groups. I don't like dudes walking up behind me. I don't like if I'm somewhere and someone's like by me with their hands in their pocket. I'm like, man, what's this dude like? I don't know, bro. That's just stuff that. And then like at work the other day, man, this person was next to me and their radio went off, and it just straight flashed me back to prison. You know what I mean? So I'm like, as soon as it went off, I'm like looking around to see what's happening. Like I was on the yard still, dude. So there's definitely some PTSD issues, dude. I don't know, man. And then like I'll get like I'm having to deal with like what I'll feel is like disrespectful at work. Like if dudes like are yelling at me or something, because I drive a yard dog, and I work for Butterball, dude. So I haul these live turkeys through the live hang area, and these dudes will be screaming and stuff. And at first, man, I thought these dudes were cussing at me and shit. So I kind of flashed on them. But yeah, man, I've just come to the realization, dude, that I can't do that stuff no more. I gotta stop. I can't just beat people up just because I feel like they disrespected me. That's not what normal people do.
What was the worst day you had in prison, man?
I'm gonna tell you the worst thing that I went through. I ended up getting in 2020, the beginning, right before COVID, dude. I got into it with this other dude, and I stabbed this dude 17 times. I damn near killed him. I missed his heart by an inch. I went to the SHU. I was in the SHU for 21 months during COVID, bro. There was a point in time where I was in there's showers in the cells in the shoes. So like I didn't leave my cell to go outside or do nothing for 4 months. And some people are going to be like, okay, well, you rotate 21 days in the feds, but we took the team and we stopped all the cell rotations because of COVID. We didn't want to be moving into some dirty ass cell, and they weren't giving us the phone. So he's like, fuck, you want us to move, but you won't give us the phone. So everybody just boarded up, and we all took the team and got cell extracted, and they stopped rotating us because of that. Then another time I took the team, I got 2 of the cops out of their helmets and gas masks and busted out on the range on them, dude. And that's like super hard to do. So I went hella hard in the feds, dude. Like, but once when I was in that in Victorville in the shoe for that stabbing, that's really when my life started transitioning to like where I started thinking about shit more and like started making some changes to myself. And I decided after I got out of there, I wouldn't carry a knife around no more, because if I got it on me, I'm more prone to use it. And I was just like, fuck it, dude. I'll just handle it with my fist. I want to go home. You know, I almost caught more time.
What do you think it was, man, that 4 months broke you, like that whole time? Do you think it was that made you want to start changing?
Well, being back there for 21 months altogether, and then just like going through the whole COVID thing back there, it was just a really traumatic experience for me, dude. I went through a lot of shit during that time. So yeah, that it really just kind of woke me up, you know. I just started making little small changes, dude.
How many years did you do total, man?
On a 15-year bid, I pulled 13 years, 8 months, and 22 days.
Damn.
Yeah.
That's a minute.
Yeah. Tell me about it. Yeah, dude. It was crazy though.
When you're doing this bid, are you having family that's supporting, riding out with you? Do you got people with you? Or are you doing okay?
Yeah, dude, my people, we're tight, man. My brother, my mom, everybody, we're like real tight, just because of the way that we grew up and like how our lives were, and like what we're doing today is way different than where we came from, you know. So my brother's killing it, dude. He's out here doing great.
That's what's up, man. Yeah, it's good to see people doing good. Did he do time too, or?
Oh yeah, he did time. He went through the drug phase, all that. But like this fool's got us a house, a Harley, a truck, a freaking Cadillac on airbag. Shit, dude, he's killing it, bro. He's got kids and shit. So trying to do the same thing. I got a great job, dude. So like, and I love it doing this shit one day at a time, bro. Just keep putting one foot.
You can do, man.
Whatever the next right thing is, man.
Yeah,
you know.
Yeah. I know you got a TikTok, right? So I want you to be able to share that. I'll put a link to your TikTok in the description of this video. So if you guys want to go follow him on TikTok, what's your TikTok so they know?
It's Bumper, but it has you can probably get it off of my my email, which is dodsong1379@gmail.com. So it should, if you go to TikTok and type that in, and it should pop up, or it's like Gary Dotson 7 or something like that.
All right, yeah, and I'll put the link for them in the description so they can find it pretty easy.
Right on, bro. I appreciate it.
Yeah, hell yeah, man. Well, I appreciate you coming on and sharing your story. And like I said, we're running out of time. We're definitely going to have him back on the channel. I hope you guys enjoy this type of content. If you do, please hit that subscribe button, turn your post notifications on all, so every time we do drop videos, you can hear it first. And with that, it's DOC TV, and we're out.